How do you best program for a client when time is limited? Whether you've got 30 or 45-minute sessions or they're showing up late, I'm gonna show you in this video. For those of you guys who are joining me the first time, my name's Coach Joe Drake. I'm the CEO and founder of the Axiom Fitness Academy. I've helped well over 600 people go through our programs and get certified and get started in the industry. And probably more important for this video, I've been training clients for the last 16 years, and I can absolutely promise you, even if you're not doing 30 and 45-minute training sessions, clients are gonna show up late, things are gonna happen. All of a sudden you had this perfect hour program. How do you break it down to really what matters? Or even better yet, maybe you're doing 30-minute training sessions and there's so much you wanna provide. How do you give clients the most in the time that you have? I'm gonna show you guys exactly what to do because it's exactly what I do as well. And here's one thing for you guys to keep in mind. I'm gonna give you guys a specific program, right? Some programming that you can just take and use, right? So stay with me. But probably one of the most important things you can think about for any client session, no matter the length, is if I only had the opportunity to get through a short warm-up in my first set with this client, would it be a good workout? And the reason that I say that is because it helps you start to prioritize what matters most. Most clients don't need to do more than 6 to 8, max 9 exercises in a workout session. And sometimes when you have an hour, you've got the opportunity to do more. But in this instance, we want to assume that time is limited, they're showing up late, or you're doing shorter sessions. And so you really want to think about the first little work block is being the most important thing. So I'm going to show you guys a little whiteboard session that I put together for you on express programming, assuming you've got 30 minutes, because I'm going to tell you guys you can get through this and maybe a little bit more in 30 minutes if you're being efficient. And that's one of the keys, you got to be efficient. So first off, we're not going to skip the warm-up. You know, if a client comes in late, even for an hour session with me, they come in 15, 20 minutes late, I still want to make sure I'm doing my job, I'm prepping them for the training. So it's truly liability issue if you just say, oh, we're going to skip the warm-up, we're going to jump right in, okay? That's my opinion, take it or leave it for what it is. We still want to do something, but unlike our other lengthy warm-up videos that you guys might have watched here on the YouTube channel where we go through prep and prime and it's 8 to 12 minutes, we don't have that time. So we gotta be a little bit more efficient. So I'm gonna tell you guys no more than 2 to 3 warm-up moves. And you wanna choose ones that accomplish a lot at the same time. For example, versions of the world's greatest stretch, right? World's greatest stretch. Or movements, let's say like the adductor T-spine, where I'm getting my adductor stretch and I'm also going through rotation in my T-spine at the same time. Just keep in mind 2 for 1. We're thinking about moves that give you a lot all at one time because we don't have a lot of time to spare. On top of that, another great way to go here is utilizing resistance bands. We've got some other videos here on our channel that show you guys some resistance band workouts, things you can do at home anywhere. Those tend to be really great ramp-up exercises because bands are pretty forgiving on the body and they can let us get through things like squatting, pushing, pulling, just getting the body prepped. So either way, whatever you do, don't do more than 2 to 3 things before we're starting to jump into the workout. Because what you'll see with this first set, this first superset I'm gonna go through with you guys, I recommend doing 3 to 4 sets of it. And the reason I recommend that, regardless maybe of the level of the client you're working with, is because you can use the first 1 to 2 sets as kind of ramp up, build up sets, which are gonna help you with your warm up and get you into the exercises a little bit faster. Now, one thing you guys notice on here, oftentimes we do on our videos, I'm not giving you specific exercises. That's your job to choose the exercises that fit for your client. But I do want to give you guys the movement categories, the patterns, because honestly, in the end, this is what matters most. And the cool part is now you've got a framework that's flexible for almost any client for a 30-minute training session, right? That's what I'm giving you. You could use this with anybody, and what you have to do is you've got to figure out what's the best squat for that person. What squat variation can I get them doing today to allow them to train with the most intensity? That's what you need to choose and select, and obviously you can progress it over time. But we're doing a superset, A1, A2, with a squat and a pull, so 2 compound movements. But again, you have a lot of flexibility in here in which ones you choose. Here I give you guys a range of 6 to 12, and the thing that's important there to point out is a slightly different rep ranges from our first superset that you're gonna do 3 to 4 times, and then you'll move on into your triplex, which is a 3 exercise circuit, doing 3 times, is I have a little bit lower repetitions to encourage you guys and clients to prioritize a little bit of strength. or better yet, kind of that transition between strength and hypertrophy. In either way, these are pretty safe rep ranges, guys, to train with about anybody. Somewhere between 6 to 15 repetitions. It's where most people train for muscular endurance, hypertrophy, based on the loads that we use. But I do like the idea of like, let's choose 2 movements earlier on that I knew if that was all I could get through, it's gonna be a good workout, right? That's what you wanna think about. If I only did these 2 exercises and I got through all that, did I accomplish something? If so, you know you chose the right 2 exercises. 6 to 12 repetitions based on your preference to client the exercise, and then moving on from there. And again, if you do a real quick warm up, you get them through 3 to 4 sets here, man, we're already moving and have accomplished a lot. We're probably about 15 minutes in to that 30-minute training session. And that should leave us time to get through this next 3 exercise circuit around 3 times, right? The key to coaching, guys, is knowing how to read the room, read the environment, and read the time, and make adjustments. For some clients, maybe you only get through 2 there. That's okay. It was probably still a really productive 30-minute training session. For other clients, you might actually even have some time at the end for some sort of memorable finish, and that's great. But you can see all we do is we make sure we're hitting just about everything else. We did some squatting and pulling in this set. We're moving on. We're still keeping it full body because that's probably the most efficient in your 30-minute training session, especially if they're training twice a week, which is about the average client. We move on now, upper pushing. We haven't done any of that yet. Again, you choose dumbbell presses, push-ups, incline, landmine press. You got a lot of options. And our reps are just slightly higher now. We went a little bit heavier with our versions here. These we're working slightly higher on our rep scheme, 8 to 15, but we're still pushing for challenge and resistance. And then lunge or hinge, your preference and based on what's necessary for the client. And then accessory. For me, I still like to leave some room for us to make sure we're addressing either some individual needs or preferences. You know, maybe they're trying to tone their shoulders more, their glutes, their core, their chest, their arms, whatever it is. This still gives us the opportunity to add in a little bit of accessory work, but it's built on the backbone of compound movements, which again, if you've got 30-minute sessions, you don't have time to waste. We got to provide a lot of value. So this alone, guys, can be your skeleton for just about anybody you work within 30-minute sessions and progress that over time. And I want to show you very quickly, because I just like to provide solutions for you. Let's say you're training twice a week. You're like, Joe, well, what did I do on the other day? If this is day A, how do I change it to day B? And you guys, as you're going through this video, feel free to screenshot so you can take a look at these. And if you stay till the end, you'll see we have a card with both workouts on the screen as well. But all we do is we flip the priorities, right? We flip the priorities of the different movements. Again, I'm all about trying to give you guys simple patterns that make it easy for you to spend more time coaching, focusing on that person in front of you, and less trying to come up with everything brand new, right? We just know they need to push, pull, squat, hinge. So now all we did here is we changed the priority. Instead of hinging and pushing in that triplex, we do it first. So now we get a chance to go a little heavier on those movements, right? Maybe you choose a different pushing exercise than you did on workout A and prioritize that with a little bit more strength. Same, 3 to 4 times, move on to our triplex or our little 3 exercise circuit. We just switch our movement categories. We keep the rep scheme, 3 rounds of that. And then, like I mentioned, if you have time, which is great, some of your clients who recover faster, who pick up exercises easier, you know the ones I'm talking about, you may have time at the end for just a couple minutes of something memorable, either something they enjoy, you know, call it a memorable finish or preference. Again, arms, glutes, core, conditioning, even mobility. Maybe you crushed it for those 25 minutes and it's nice to finish off with 5 minutes of cool down. So I just like to try to give you guys some examples. Hopefully this is helpful for you. I know from talking with a lot of trainers inside of our Facebook group, those that are inside of our classes, there's always this challenge of like, Joe, how do I accomplish it all in 30 minutes? And the cool part is you don't have to accomplish everything, right? We're looking at this long term. But if you take these 2 patterns that you guys have seen here and you'll see at the end of this video, and you start working these in twice a week with these shorter sessions, I guarantee you, you're gonna have a great training session.